Now, on to architecture and art.
Mm.
And we know that many of our buildings today are glass and steel and concrete buildings. Many of the older buildings that you particularly like would be made of stone and in what are called classical proportion. What is it about the modern art and indeed architecture that so appalls you?
Well, not all of it appalls me, but I think that architecture is a very special art in that in building things you are creating the space in which people live, and a building therefore is automatically in relation to people, strangers as well. It's not just the person who's using it. The passerby as well has a relation to it. So I think that buildings should stand properly in a public space with a proper facade, facing people and welcoming them as doors welcome and as windows welcome. And the classical language, which was so beautifully realized in 18th century Dublin, creates that kind of atmosphere. It's as though the buildings are around you like friends. And the streets are the streets in which you exist in a community. But of course the typical glass and steel building has no facade. It looks at no one, and it obliterates the neighborhood. And it also, of course, has this very bad ecological side to it, that it's something which can't change function. So when the office moves out, it has to be pulled down.
Yeah. Or become occupied by someone else.
Or become vandalized or whatever. And so it's a way of just making desert areas in the center of our cities.
And what do you make then of modern art? I mean, some of it is, as you say, attractive and is a friend on your wall. But something like Tracy Emin's Unmade Bed.
Well, Tracy Emin's Unmade Bed is it's a wonderful expression of Tracy Emin, but luckily it's something that will pass. People will regard it as a historical curiosity in time, but it's no more a work of art than my Unmade Bed is a work of art. And the question is, how interesting am I as a character compared with her?
Or the bricks in the Tate, famously.
Yes. Well, yes. Years ago. Something doesn't become a work of art just because someone puts it in a gallery and calls it a work of art, is what I would like to say.
Now, tell me about Neurononsense and the Soul.
Oh, well, this is the topic which is really very academic, but I've been very interested recently by the extent to which our understanding of the human being is being invaded by neuroscience, by the study of the brain, neural pathways and so on. Huge advances apparently are being made through magnetic resonance imagery in understanding how the electrical circuits that are set up within us function. And as a result, people have rushed prematurely to the idea that at last they understand what the human being is, and we can get rid of this old concept of the soul, the old ideas of thinking, believing, feeling, wondering, and so on, with which we understand our everyday behavior. And I want to say that this is nonsense, that the brain is a part of the human being, but not the whole human being.
And you will be expounding on that.
I will.
Tonight, all right. It's called Neurononsense and the Soul. It's going to be delivered in the Physics Hall at NUI Maynooth at 8 o'clock tonight. And by the way, Dr. Mark Dooleys' book, Roger Scruton, The Philosopher on Dover Beach, is published by Continuum International. I don't know whether you've looked at Mark's work.
I have, indeed, yes.
You're pleased, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
All right. Roger, thank you very much for joining us. Just a quick postscript in response to the email on outsourcing by Brian Riley's company, Futureprint. Brian says they would only send work out of the country if it's specified by the client or if they cannot produce it here because of time or capacity, e.g. the AIB annual report. They printed the Irish version and managed the American version, but that one was printed in America. We're not spending taxpayers' money like the state and semi-state bodies who are spending the taxpayers' money abroad. So says Brian. That's all we have time for. The programme was produced by Kay Sheehy. The researcher was Mary Mulhern. Ronan up next. But for me, until tomorrow, have a good day.